Having a website that's slow to load is a very common problem among small businesses, and it's not ideal to have a slow loading website for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it is very bad for your SEO performance, your search engine optimization, and you will rank lower in search results in Google. And secondly, it is not great for the user experience. So a potential customer coming to your website, if they have to wait a few seconds longer than they expect, might abandon the endeavor altogether. So to keep your website visitors happy, you want a website that is loading instantly, basically. One of the things that can really impact website loading speed is the file sizes of the media that you've uploaded. So namely images. If you're loading images that are far too large in the wrong file format, they can really drastically slow down the time that it takes for your website pages to open up. So in this video, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to resize your images so that they're more suitable for loading on your website, and therefore will help your website to load more quickly. In the blog post associated with today's tip, we have provided a bit of a guide to some of the technical jargon that you might encounter when you're talking about digital images and working with digital images. So we discuss a couple of things like what a pixel is, what lossy versus lossless compression is, different file formats, what their abbreviations are, and which ones are best for what uses. So I won't go through all of that now, but read through the blog post to learn more about that if you want to brush up on your digital imagery jargon. Now, when it comes to the source images, so the original copies of the images that you want to use on your website, particularly with photos, the bigger the source image is, the better. And that's because you can go down in size without losing quality, but you can't increase the size of an image without compromising the quality a bit. So there is a bit of a trade-off, therefore, with the image size versus the level of detail, the level of quality of the image. And you need to find the happy medium. So you need to find a small enough file size, but you also want to have a good quality image as well. So as a general rule, at least for our website, we try to keep most images below 100 kilobytes. For larger images, we might go up to 200, but generally speaking, 100 kilobytes is the max. Ideally, for smaller images, if they're, say, 800 by 600 pixels is a kind of standard photo size that we might use in a blog post or something. We try to keep that to 50 or 80 kilobytes per image, so quite small. And now I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that you can easily resize your images and compress them to a smaller file size using online and offline processes. So the first process that I want to show you is using Canva. You're likely already familiar with Canva. If you aren't, it is an online graphic design tool, basically. So it's a totally online program, canva.com. There is a free version, which has really great capabilities, and there is also a paid plan, which has obviously increased capabilities. But for today's purposes, for today's demonstration, the free one is fine. So the image that we are going to compress and also change the file format, we are going to be changing this image here, this photo, which was taken on an iPhone. It's already been compressed a little bit. It's, I think originally it was 17 megabytes or something, so quite large. And now it's at 980 kilobytes, which is still too big for our website. We want ideally under 100 kilobytes. And it's in PNG format, which is part of the reason why it's so large. So this is the image here. Now if we head over to Canva, what we're going to do is create a design. I know that our website dimensions that we prefer to use in most cases is 600 by 800 or 800 by 600, depending if it's portrait or landscape. So I'll just create a new design. In the uploads, I've already added the image there. You just go upload media and then find the file. But I've already done that in advance, so I've just clicked and dragged it in. I'll just drag it to snap into the frame. Once I'm happy with that, we will click download. The suggested file type is PNG because that's what it was uploaded as, and that's the highest quality image, but that's going to end up being too big for our website, so we're going to change it to JPEG. If we were using the paid plan, you would be able to use this slider here to adjust the quality, but that's okay, we don't need to do that necessarily. So we'll click download, and this will save. And we will head over to downloads, and we can see that this has come down to 136, which is not bad. It's still a little bit larger than we'd like, but it's pretty good. So that's an online way to compress your file size and to change the file format. If you're using a Mac computer, is another really easy way to do it. So I'll go back to that image here. So this PNG, open that up. We're going to click File. So it should if you double tap any photo file in your Mac, it should automatically open with Preview. That's the default. Click on File, down to Export. You can change this to JPEG. It's already selected that for us, which is handy. JPEG, and you can use this slider until you're happy with the file size here. So 86 or 80 is great. So 80, we'll just change that name. I'll make sure that it goes in the same folder. There we are, and it always ends up being a little bit larger than it says it's going to be, but that's okay, 82 is fine. And as we can see, it hasn't really compromised on the image quality too much at all. This here is another online tool that you can use if you are needing to convert a PNG to a JPEG format. So you just upload your files here, and it will do the conversion for you. So we'll do that with that New York PNG image. There we are. There we go. And I wonder what size that's downloaded as. And so that's that's the version that's just downloaded for us, 144. So again, a little bit larger than we'd like, but that's okay. We can change that using just our computer. Or we could use this website, which is TinyPNG, where you can just drag and drop or click this button to upload an image, and then they will compress it for you in the same format. So if you upload a PNG, it's going to give you a smaller version of that PNG to download. If you upload a JPEG, it's going to give you a smaller version of that JPEG. So we'll upload this 144 kilobyte JPEG, and it's compressing that for us, and it's got it down to 93, which is great. So we'll click download. All of these websites are linked in the blog post as well for you to take a look at. And here's our new version of the image, which is at 93, so that's exactly where we want it to be. So as you can see, there are a few different ways to go about resizing your photos and your images and changing the file format. There is a kind of Microsoft or Windows equivalent of the Mac offline format adjustment that I showed you before. Obviously I can't demonstrate that because I don't have a Windows computer, but there is a video link in the blog post, so have a look at that if you are a Windows user.